Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I have a question. It's a little bit of a complicated question, so I'm going to try to find the best way to frame it, so bear with me. Okay, so here's my question. Should body count matter, and does body count affect men the same way that it affects women? And should both parties be shamed for having a high body count? I'm going to show you guys a clip and then I'll come back with my opinion.
Yeah. What problems? Because I think that body count is also not indicative of a person at all, because sometimes things happen.
Well, let me explain why
I can't
it's a problem.
change it.
To answer your question. The reason that it's a problem is because what it allows promiscuity to kind of operate unfettered. Okay, so what happens by men not producing judgment on women who are very loose women or have sex with many partners under the guise of I don't want to know, it actually encourages women to do this behavior because they feel like there'll be no societal or social repercussions. That's the problem.
Okay, so I get what the guy is saying. Now, dating in this modern world, the way women are these days is a lot different than, the generation that came before me and the generation that I grew up in. Everything is weird and different now. So people move differently now. There's this whole multi-dating, like people go out. I'm not talking about sleeping, but they go out with so many different people at the same time, and it's a thing. It's a thing that is normalized, and it's not something that I'm used to, but I mean, I get it that different strokes for different folks. That's what this new society does. That's what this new generation does. But the point the guy was making that was going over their head, and I must say that I agree with. I'm not talking about the shaming, but I also feel like there's like a certain accountability that women try to avoid when like body count is being talked about. Like, yes, it may be that you fell for the feminist trap of like, we can do anything men can do, let's do it too, let's just go and sleep around, let's just put our body through the wire, and we should like find men that still find us respectable, want to make like the people say, want to make an honest women out of us. We want to do all that and still be treated like somebody who showed self-control, somebody who was not interested in sexual freedom or sexual empowerment, right? Somebody who wasn't trying to be like dudes out there who in a sense took care of themselves, whether they were lucky, whether they got parents, or whether their trauma led them in a different direction than it did you. That's different. But it was going over their head because nobody wants to take responsibility and accountability. Women have a tendency to like call men insecure for not wanting to deal with them if they've been through the wire. Now, I'm not shaming anybody. It's not my job. Like, you do whatever you want to do, but we just need to keep in mind that actions have consequences, okay? You cannot be wanting to debate with people, fight with people for, letting you know, hey, like, I'm not saying you're not going to find it, but, it's not going to be every single one of them that's not going to look at you a certain way if it comes up in conversation. Like, the hookup culture is at large, okay? In this new generation, everybody's hooking up. If a dude is hooking up with you, they may not want to know, they may not care if you've been with 600 people versus one. They're not looking to have something serious with you. They just want to do what they want to do for the night and get off and get on with it. If a dude is looking to have a relationship with you, to be in a committed relationship with you, they are going to be interested in how many folks have run through you. They may boldly ask the question. Some of them may boldly ask the question, and some of them may figure it out in a subtle way, may get you to tell them whether or not you've been around. But some dude will want to know, what you've been up to before they decide whether or not they're going to parade you around as their person. And women don't like that. And a lot of them, like I was saying, they like to call people insecure instead of owning up to who they are or who they were and what they've been up to. Like, you have got to learn to take responsibility for your actions and not call a man insecure for having standards. That's the thing. Like, women will have an arm's length of all the criteria that this man has to have for these women to want to be with them. But then men cannot have even a little bit of a standard. They call them insecure. Like if a man says, I don't want a woman who's been with 600,000 other men before me, and they'll be like, well, you're just insecure. You can't handle a woman who is sexually empowered, or a woman who has sexual experience, blah blah blah. You can't handle it. No, that man has a standard. That man has standards as to what their past should look like. That matters to certain men. You cannot call them insecure. It's just that this man is technically not for you. Now, I'm not going to be like, oh, you should shame the woman if they've gone over your preferred number. You can just move on. That's not for you. Now, I'm not here for a man trying to shame a woman for having lived her life, but that man can also choose to not be with you based on that. Now, you may be reformed, but that dude may still decide, although you have changed, that's not the path that he wants his woman to have. So yeah, that's what I think as far as like the body count thing. I do think, in my humble opinion, I think it does matter to the people for whom it matters. If you're gonna be out there doing the most, then you have to understand you may get to a point where you're looking for this dude, and this dude may not want someone who has done as much as you have done. So I think when women are out there sleeping around, they have to keep in mind that in the future, the man that you may want to be with may not want you, because that man may have standards as far as how many folks you've been with. Now, for the other part, does having a high body count affect women in their future? That is a heck yeah. Again, that's not my opinion, because like I don't necessarily know a whole bunch about the situation, but I've read in many different places that having a high body count does affect a woman's ability to settle in the future, because it shows a man that you have a lack of self-control and boundaries, and you may have had a whole bunch of demons that they're not sure whether or not are still, functioning within you. Women are quick to say, I've done the work, blah blah blah, but like, what was making you sleep with so many people to begin with? So that is a red flag a lot of times that men look at in their assessment of your body count. Like, it shows that you have a lack of self-control, you have a lack of boundaries, and like, what demons was causing you to sleep with so many people, and are they still there? That's one thing that I saw. Another thing, like, men were saying that they frown upon, and I think that's an ego type of situation. Again, that is most men. They want their woman to be somewhat inexperienced, because it boosts them in a way to be the one to like show her some stuff, and they want to feel special. And if you have been with 600,000 other people and there's 600,001, then they're not going to feel special.
So he's talking about body counts. It's not even just about the freaky. I'm interested, if I have an experience with a woman, whether it's sexual or non-sexual, I want to give her portal to the world. I want to be the person who shows her something for the first time. I don't want to fuck her. She's been fucked every way she can be. Like, I have to invent something new now? Backflips?
The other reason that I saw that women are affected by having a high body count, it's hard for them to find a partner, because allegedly, I don't know if there is any truth to it, as just what I've seen while looking this up and researching, they will live in a constant state of comparison. It will be hard for them to be satisfied with any guy, because they have been so many, and then they will stay searching for one in the other. And that man that they would commit to, they would have to do so much, because a lot of the times people that have been with so many different people, it's hard for them to like sexually connect with anybody, because they've opened up their body to anything that moves. And a sexual connection is a very important part of any relationship. I think women do have to tread lightly, because we're not wired like men. It doesn't matter what we do to become man, we're never going to be man, because we're not wired like men are wired. So we're doing ourselves a disservice by trying to be like men. The last question I asked was, should both parties be shamed for having a high body count? Okay, so from a non-biblical standpoint, no. I don't think that both parties should be shamed for having a high body count, because if we're gonna be honest, most women are not interested in dudes that ain't been around and done stuff. Like, most of women are low-key turned on by a dude that done lived, that has been there and done that. No woman is looking for like a little prude of a virgin of a dude who don't know your a-hole from your pee-hole. So the idea that man and women should both be shamed for having a high body count is ludicrous. It's ridiculous, and it's not realistic. That's from a non-biblical standpoint. From a biblical standpoint, yes, both parties should be shamed because biblically we should not be fornicating out here. But men and women do not suffer the same consequences from being promiscuous. Point blank and the period. You could debate all you want to. You can fight it all you want to. The reality is men and women do not suffer the same consequences from sleeping around. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the whole situation. With that being said, let us jump into the comment section and see what is happening. Somebody said, yes, it should be shamed. It is shameful. Of course, they're going to push back. People have always pushed back when they're shamed for their bad behavior. That doesn't mean we should accept it. I mean, call me whatever you want to, but I agree with that. I think, shame needs to be brought back. Like a little bit of it. Keep people from acting a fool, and just like this whole feminist movement and let's be man and sexual empowerment, it needs to be done. Somebody else said, these conversations show the giant lack of accountability in women in the US today. Andrew is the father that they never had, that is teaching these girls basic moral and social lessons for the first time. I do have to agree, like a lot of these girls, like every young female now is on OnlyFans. They have an OnlyFans account, and I do blame that on a lack of parenting, a lack of guidance. There's a girl who literally was saying, like, my dad knows that I do OnlyFans and I support him with that money. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, no one wants to raise anybody anymore, and no one wants to guide anyone. The minute the going gets tough, all the guidance stops. Somebody said, so the thing is, why do you put yourself in a situation where you can't say no? That's supposed to be a part of the point of dating, to ascertain and discern if the person is someone you feel safe being in such a situation. The thing is, why can't you say no before you find yourself in a situation where you can't say no? I can't dissect this comment because that is something that puzzles me, and I don't want to like go in and judge people for things that I don't understand. The idea that women would literally spread open their legs, let somebody put their penile situation in their hoo-ha simply because they didn't want to say no, or they couldn't say no. I don't understand how that works. I'm not going to like go in on that because it's above my pay grade, because I do not understand. Your hoo-ha is not on your hand. It's not on your neck. It's not on your arm. It's not even in between your boobs. It's not on your chest. It's like hidden. There's like a lot of things that happen before a penile situation can meet your hoo-ha. So you mean to tell me, like, before we got all the way down there, you didn't have a chance to say no? Like, you can't say no, you don't say no. It's different if you're being raped, if you're being assayed, but like, you mean to tell me under normal circumstances you have done stuff with dudes that you didn't really want to do stuff with, all because you couldn't say no? Why? Somebody said, I love how they automatically resort to excuses and exceptions, derailing the conversation into, yeah, but grape though, when they know we mean consensual sex, but they use that as an excuse to alleviate all responsibility from their choices. Yeah, so obviously if they're talking about a high body count, I don't think anybody is referring to like those exceptions, like the grape situation. No one is referring to those when they say high body count. Obviously, if you've just escaped an sex cult, if you were trafficked, no one is going to say you're just a horrible person, you're just a HOE. It's obviously not those situations. We're talking about the situations where you like agreed to do this stuff with so many different people. Somebody said 100% yes. There is literally nothing positive that comes from a woman sleeping around. No guy wants to be in a serious relationship with a woman if he knows she's slept with a lot of men. Women need to realize the least bodies, the better. And most guys want to know if the woman has a high risk of promiscuity. And promiscuity is highly despised by most men. Also, accountability is a woman's kryptonite, always applies. I mean, yep, I completely agree. I have nothing else to add to this comment. It is the perfect one to end this video with. That is all I have to say on this matter. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. And please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next one. But until then, I hope to see you in the comment section. Bye.